Paranormal in Pennsylvania may discuss topics such as suicide, murder, and other potentially upsetting things. Listener discretion is advised. Before we get into this week's episode, first, a quick message. Halloween is unfortunately over, and now you have to put away all your decorations. This year, use smart labels to catalog all of your stuff going into the storage bins. With Smart Labels, you just buy a pack of Smart Labels QR code stickers on Amazon, slap them on a storage bin, and then use the Smart Labels app to scan the QR code sticker. In the app, write down each item you put into each bin and where you're putting the bin, so next year you'll never have to go looking for that one specific decoration. Get your Smart Labels QR code stickers on Amazon today. Hello, and welcome to Paranormal in Pennsylvania,
where we discuss history and haunts.
Today's story takes us up to the Poconos. I'm Sarah.
And I'm David.
Let's get into it. So the Poconos, the location that we often go to for family vacations. We went here a while back with family. We did this past summer, and then we did multiple summers ago. And this was the Skytop Lodge. I don't know if you remember it, but we did a treetop adventure course. Do you remember?
Yes, I do remember that.
Very fun. It was honestly a blast. Really fun to do with your family. And we drove around the lodge itself, but we were primarily out in the woods, which are also haunted, but just to note that we weren't actually staying at the lodge itself, but we did visit this place. To get into the history, all of the history comes directly from their website. The Skytop Lodge has been around since 1928. It opened that June. It was designed by 4 men following World War I, and the intention was to allow people a place to relax and appreciate the beauty of the mountains. This group of men purchased 2,500 acres of abandoned farmland, which is huge. I had no clue that it was such a big campus.
Well, yeah, 2,500 acres, but also that was like a fairly rugged area. What farming was even being done there?
I don't know. It just says abandoned farmland. That's a good point. And thus the resort and golf course were built on all those acres. Interestingly enough, they built the golf course first, and then they built the resort. The golf course was built in 1925, and then the resort.
I think it makes a lot of sense that if you build the golf course first, because if they charge people to go, because they weren't the first game in town in terms of having a lodge, so build a golf course, people will come golf.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could use some of the money from that to help build your lodge.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad point at all. In 1930, the nearby lake was made bigger through the creation of a dam, which also helped contribute to tourism in this area. They added hiking trails around that time, and the lodge acquired another 2,000 acres.
So that running total is now 4,500. Oh man, I'm so good at math. Look at that.
That's a huge campus. And when we were there, the lodge itself is absolutely stunning. Then they have all the trails. I think they had horseback riding even. They had multiple adventure courses and zip lines. So this has everything that you can think of right there. Their dining room is said to still pay homage to the 1920s, a time of white tablecloths.
Okay.
According to their website. And they say that they're grounded in their history of elegance and good manners. It was initially a Quaker resort with cards and dancing prohibited, which I think is interesting.
I can't gamble?
No.
Not at all? That is tragedy.
But the rules eventually fell away when the U.S. entered the jazz era.
Jazz hands.
Yeah, I was going to say, remember, not everybody's watching. Some people are just listening. They can't hear the jazz hands.
Imagine jazz hands going at a steady pace.
So that's the history. Pretty brief history, but definitely an interesting one. We're going to get into the ghost story now. And at one point, the lodge actually offered ghost tours and ghost investigation weekends, which I think is really interesting. We always love when places lean into the haunted history. And the management team actually conducted their own investigation, identifying EVPs, and discovered that there were 2 ghosts there.
Interesting. So I guess my first question, based off that intro, is why did they stop giving tours? Or it sounds like they stopped giving tours. Did they stop?
So the most recent one I could find was from 2021. So I am either it's not on the website or they don't do them anymore.
Okay. We should reach out and inquire.
Yeah, we should, especially next summer when we're up there. That could be a really fun thing to do.
Yeah.
So the first ghost that they identified is said to be a World War II veteran. He's grumpy and likes to make sure that guests know he's there. He does not want to be forgotten. And he does this by banging on the walls and moving objects around when no one is looking.
Okay. I mean, could be certainly very startling, but at the same time, not malevolent, so positive. So he's not touching anyone, right?
No.
Okay.
And he just doesn't want to be forgotten. That's apparently
fair.
they asked him his motivation, and that's what he said it was.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Which, again, so kind. And he must have been there pretty far past opening then. If it opened in 1928, the lodge itself. And he was a vet of World War II, you know. It's not in the early years of the lodge.
No, the lodge would have been established, 17 years by the time World War II ended? Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so not in the early years. And the other spirit that management discovered is a young boy that is searching for his parents, which is so sad to me. They asked him why he was there, and he said he's looking for his parents.
Yeah, that is... that's sad. I don't...
Yeah. It's one of those spirits that doesn't seem to know that it's dead.
So you're going to tell me there's now a third ghost that's really happy, right? And bring
Nope.
us back up?
Well, kind of. So those are the 2 spirits from management, like I said. But there is a really cute story, and that's of a ghostly couple. They loved vacationing here at the Skytop Lodge and playing golf so much that when the couple died, their ashes were actually scattered together over the golf course.
So wait, you said kinda. So where's the real sad part of this?
Well, there is no sad part, but they are still spirits.
Well, it sounds like they're still partying it up at the lodge. I don't know. That's pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, true. Specifically, they were scattered over the 15th tee, not 15th hole, but over where you tee off for the hole.
Okay.
And it's said that they are seen either roaming the golf course hand in hand or playing golf.
Yeah, this is just sweet. They're just living it out.
I know, it's so
There's
happy.
no sadness.
We're not golfers, but I would love us to do something like this in our afterlife. A nice resort in the Poconos.
Oh, but you're saying not golfing.
Well,
Yeah, because we're on a golf course and we don't enjoy golfing.
yeah.
That's gonna
And
be fun.
there are also general hauntings. So some general hauntings include seeing spirits in the hallways, just kind of moving around. And with over 90 years of guests, that really doesn't surprise me at all.
No, based off the previous ghosts that you just said, it sounds just like people are still there having fun.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of really positive interactions.
Except for the little boy that can't find his parents.
Sad. There is one guest that commented that one of the ghosts that they frequently saw in the hallways was an old man in a long white nightgown that disappeared whenever guests got close to him.
Oh, because we caught him in his nightgown.
Right, and what era? Like, when did long white nightgowns go out of fashion?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah,
That I'm no fashion expert.
I wonder.
Or historical fashion expert, actually.
There are also reports of kids experiencing hauntings there. I always think that's interesting because I think it can be really easy for people to write off things that kids say, but they are really in tune with the world and have a curiosity that I think adults don't always have. One person commented that when they stayed at the Skytop Lodge, they were only 12 years old. While in the game room, the door opened and then slammed shut repeatedly. After the door stopped slamming, they were suddenly overcome with a cold sensation. They looked around to try to find any reasoning for the cold sensation, but they found no windows and no doors open.
So I'm wondering if this was like a ghost of like some former employee or an adult that's trying to like scold the kids for, not being around their parents or being on their own.
Maybe. Something I was thinking is I wonder if it could be the little boy. And he's like, hey, you need to go find your parents right now. Like, you need to leave this game room.
Okay, yeah, way to make that sad too. Great job there.
It's just a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, but you're not wrong on that sound. It could be the little boy also trying to like let them know that he's there.
Yeah. And the same guest said that while he was there, he just got overall an unsettling vibe while at the lodge. He said he really didn't like it being there when he was a kid.
Oh. Was it primarily adults that went to the lodge, like in the 20s and 30s onward?
Well, it doesn't say when he went. It just says that he was 12. But he was in a game room, which makes me think that it's targeted towards kids as well.
Well, I mean, I don't hear game room and necessarily think like children. I could think of like a blackjack table, pool tables.
I see.
That'd still be the game room.
Okay. Yeah, so a little vague. It could be multiple things.
Right. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Right. One guest commented that the blankets and beds there make you feel super cozy and safe, but that the place is so haunted that it's a false sense of security.
That's pretty funny.
I know, it's so funny. It's just,
the bed is so comfy, but the ghosts are absolutely going to get you, so hide under the covers.
I know. No, don't hide under the covers. It doesn't matter. It's a false sense of security.
I can ostrich strategy my way through it.
Yeah. I just thought that was such a funny review. The lodge is not the only thing that's haunted. At the beginning, I mentioned that the surrounding woods are also haunted, and that's where we had gone. So there is, near the lodge, Indian Ladder Falls, which is really close and said to be haunted because in the 1700s, there were indigenous people that climbed the falls because there were white men pursuing them, trying to kill them. So they were chased up the falls and actually were able to climb them. Now, it doesn't say why these indigenous people haunt this area, if it's because they fell or because this was a traumatic event, or if they actually ended up dying at the hands of these white pursuers.
Or perhaps even that the waterfall is a sacred area.
Oh, that's true. It doesn't say. It also did not say what tribe these indigenous people were part of.
Right. And that's why I'd throw sacred. But
yeah,
I don't know if that would really be a thing.
Yeah, I do wonder. I know when we covered the Shawnee Inn, the Lenape tribe was the people there, and they're pretty close together. So I would think it might be the Lenape tribe if I had to give a guess. But in my research, it just said indigenous people, so I don't want to assume.
Right.
And I think that that's a really interesting haunting as well. People have said that in the woods, specifically at this waterfall, you can see these indigenous peoples climbing the falls, or you can just see them standing looking at you.
That is kind of creepy, because you're like torn between, is this just a tragic event replaying?
Mm-hmm. Of the climb. You mean if they're climbing?
Of their climb, or are those like actual spirits that are staring at you with perhaps malice or hate, or you are not supposed to be there.
Right, and not to mention being absolutely terrifying. Like I said, we did that adventure course there, and I can't imagine if we were doing the adventure course thinking it was our family and the guide and the other people of the group in the woods and that's it, and all of a sudden we see a whole tribe's worth of indigenous people just standing there staring at us.
I wouldn't assume ghosts at first.
Right, I don't think I would either. But if they like disappeared or something.
Oh yeah, that would be very
startling,
to say the least.
Yeah. So, time to answer the question, would you visit this place of paranormal phenomena? I personally would love to go back. There's so much there. I'd go back just for the activities, just to do another adventure course or zip line. But I would also love to go back for a paranormal investigation.
Yes, to both those things. But at the same time, I'd like to stay in the lodge just to see if the beds are really that comfy and the blanket's so comfy.
Glowing reviews about the bedding, not so glowing reviews about the spirit activity.
Fair. If that's not your thing, that's not your thing.
Yeah. So definitely, we'd both go back. It'd be interesting. Maybe we will go back next summer or take a road trip, I guess. But to see what other paranormal adventures await us there. Thank you for tuning in for this week's episode of Paranormal in Pennsylvania, where we visited the Skytop Lodge in the Poconos. Tune in next Thursday to see what places we discuss next.
Spooky!